filming already. I didn't know that was going to happen, so this will be an interesting test of the equipment. Okay, I think this is working. Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is the first day that I am filming and working in the garden in the evening after work, and look at how much just delicious sunshine is coming through the door. Now you can't see me very well because, as usual, this is an impromptu filming session, and I just wanted to get on with it, so I haven't faffed around too much with the equipment. It won't be a long gardening session. I'm just trying to get probably half an hour to start sowing some seeds. I want to focus today on sowing some herbs. You might remember from my last video that my aim for this year, amongst a couple of other things, is to be self-sufficient in fresh herbs. And so that means regular sowings throughout the year and prioritizing herbs and anything else that I want to be self-sufficient in over the multitude of things that can be sown at this time of year. I'm going to move the stool a bit better. Yeah, so that's probably my biggest tip, particularly if you're getting started with gardening or growing your own food. There are so many things to choose from, and it can be overwhelming, and you can find yourself in a situation where you've sown so many things that you then can't keep on top of potting up and planting out, or you have 10,000 cabbages that are already at the same time. So succession sowing, and the trick for succession sowing is little and often. And my personal top tip for success that works for me is to have an idea of what it is that are your non-negotiables. So the things that you really want to make sure that you have in your garden, and anything else on top of that is a bonus. Mine this year are fresh herbs, tomatoes, spring onions, and salad leaves. And anything outside of that is a bonus. So we're starting today with herbs, and specifically, if I open the box, coriander, parsley, and dill. So these are three herbs that I want to start off. I've got a whole box just full of herbs, but we're starting with those three. For me, it's not quite warm enough for basil yet because I won't be germinating these seeds inside. So that will be back end of the month, maybe next month, when I do my tomatoes. But these three herbs are just magnificent. The parsley, I haven't sown parsley for a couple of years. The last time I sowed parsley was 2 years ago, must have been 2023, and I had so much of it I didn't know what to do with it. I was just cutting it off, cutting big bunches off of the plants and composting it because I had no use for it that much. The year previously to that, before I lived in this house and had this garden, it was the dill that I had so much of that I didn't know what to do with it, and I froze a whole load of that dill. And I'm just coming to the end of that stash out of my freezer. And coriander is just something that I've really grown to love. I used to didn't think I liked coriander until I started growing my own and eating it and just every day, particularly in rice, to add some fresh coriander, or I will often chop it up, mix it with oil, freeze it into ice cube trays, and then towards the end of rice cooking, put a frozen cube of coriander in with the rice, and it just makes it spectacular. I have had years where I've had so much coriander I don't know what to do with it, and that's a long-winded way of me sharing with you that I seem to be really successful with one herb at a time, and it's a different herb every year. apart from last year when I didn't really grow any. So we'll see which one is going to be super successful this year. I need to find some trays, and when I've done that, I will be back with you. Okay, I'm hoping that from this location you can follow along what I'm doing on the seed sowing area. I've managed to find 3 trays. 2 look like this. These are just mushroom trays from the supermarket that I have bored holes in. In fact, that one hasn't got... Oh no, it has got holes in it. I usually use the tip of a knife or the end of a pencil. And then I've got one sort of proper tray that I paid for. Actually, I probably didn't pay for it. I probably commandeered it from my mum's garden. By the by, I used to have loads more of these trays, so I'm going to have to sort something out because these are my only seed sowing trays in the whole greenhouse. No, this is a shed. It's been a very long day. Yeah, so if I have any hope of sowing anything else ever, I need to find some more seed sowing trays. So I've just used the bottom of the one tray to firm down the compost. And we'll start with coriander. This seed has a sow by date of 2025, so that's not so bad. Coriander seeds often smell of the herb. Same stuff you use for cooking, really. So, I've used about half of what I had left. Coriander seeds are quite small. You see that? Oh, I've just thrown it. The light's not coming from a great direction. Let me see if I can swap you around. Is this better? I think the lighting is better. Okay. This is the coriander seeds. They're quite large, so you can see how many I've planted. I've sown here. I don't know, 20, 25, something like that. A generous amount. Quarter-inch deep of compost. As a reminder to those of you who have been to my channel before, but also to share with those of you who are new here, in these trays I'm using a seed sowing compost. Seed sowing compost is absolutely not required. You can use any good quality multi-purpose compost, but you might want to give it a sieve. I don't tend to use multi-purpose compost in the garden because I grow outside, so I use soil improvers and mulches over compost. So when I'm starting my seeds, I get a good quality peat-free seed sowing compost. You do whatever works in your garden. I need to find a label. Oh, look. This was coriander from a previous year. I shall just change the date. The label is now applied. I've put a little layer of compost on top of my seeds, and again I've pressed that down. It's important to get the seeds have good contact with the soil to encourage germination. That compost is quite damp, but I will also water it. And I'm just going to repeat the whole exercise with the next one. So taking about a handful, 2 handfuls of compost for a tray this size. It's about 2/3 full, and then I'm going to press it down. We've got a nice firm base for the seeds, and then when it's pressed down, it's only about half full. Next up is dill. Dill seeds are fine. They're like little flecks, as I remember, kind of like parsnip or carrot seeds. Oop. There's a midgie flying around. Better not bite me. Huge one. Yeah, teeny tiny, the dill seeds. Can you see that just on the tip of my finger? Again, I've sprinkled them quite liberally. I'm going to loosely sprinkle just a thin layer on top, and then press down so that they are nice and secure and tucked in. And then I'm going to write my label again. And dill, complete. I'm putting the parsley in this little one because in my past experience, the parsley grew very vigorously and created giant plants. So I did not need so many of them. I think I had 6, and I cut that down to 4, and then I cut that down to 2, and I still just had too much parsley. And then last year, because I didn't really grow anything last year, I had none, and I was very sad, which is why this year's aim is to be self-sufficient in fresh herbs all throughout the year. So to do that, I will do several sowings throughout the course of the year, but I haven't figured out what that looks like yet. These 3 herbs are quite cold tolerant, and I have had, particularly the parsleys, that last multiple years from a single sowing. The dill is a bit more flash in the pan, if that makes sense. So it sort of is really vigorous for a bit and then dies off quite quickly. So I will probably do a dill sowing maybe every month or every other month. And then maybe I'll try and aim for 3 sowings of coriander, so that I've got coriander going into the winter months as well. But this may be the only parsley I need. And I've just done exactly the same with the parsley that I did for the other 2, and I'm just going to write a label. check now. But you can tell that it's still only very early in the springtime because we're already losing the light. I've been out here 10 or 15 minutes, but I do want to get one more job done and then I'm going to call it a day, and that is to plant these. These are some bedding plants that I bought ages ago, and I was supposed to put them in pots outside my office, and I did one pot and then completely forgot about them. And so I've decided that I'm just going to plant the remainder in this border area here underneath the plum tree, where I've got some little daffodils poking out. Hopefully they'll start to flower soon. And then these, which I think are pansies. Yes, they're pansy autumn blaze mix, and just bring a bit of joy and colour to the garden. So yeah, I'm going to get on with that because they're looking a bit ragged. And I also did just drop this face down in the shed. I'm going to cut off all the flowers, plant them up into the ground, and then hopefully they will grow back big and strong with some beautiful flowers in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with that, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.